Thousands of people escaped slavery by hiding into a swamp, and they never stopped hiding there for more than 200 years. Let's talk about the journey that some of our ancestors took to the Great Dismal Swamp. This is a million acres of dense snake-infested marsh on the border of Virginia and North Carolina. Now, when you see it from above or from the ground, you're just going to think it's probably something like a nature preserve, but there's so much history inside. Okay, so the history books tells us that people who were fleeing slavery, they ran north, upstate, New York, Niagara, and Canada. But some people, known as Maroons, actually went into the treacherous, murky forest. To get there, they had to disappear into places where hardly a human foot could pass. We're talking waist-deep peat bogs, swarms of biting flies, and more venomous snakes than anywhere else in the South. And there is no natural stone in that swamp either. So to build their lives, the Maroons had to get creative, and they made tools from some of the relics and artifacts that they found left behind by ancient indigenous civilizations. Because once inside, they built sovereign communities on high ground where the slave catchers were too afraid to go. Seriously, this was a survival tactic that I'm in awe of. They traded the whip for the wilderness, as one writer put it. But the other consideration, once inside the swamp, they had to live in a constant state of silence. They knew that a single loud noise could bring the slave catchers back to the edge of that murky forest. So once inside, the people who decided to stay and build their lives there, they didn't just hide for a weekend. It was 200 years. And they built a community where their children were born, raised, and died without ever once seeing the outside world. And when you read some of the testimonies and hear some of the stories from the descendants, you'll learn that they didn't just hide. They thrived in a place where the rest of the world deemed it uninhabitable. These ancestors did this right under the nose of a system that was trying to own them. Now, the communities eventually disbanded after the Civil War. When the chains were finally broken, the Maroons walked out of the mud to find their extended families and start a new chapter of freedom. They may not be living in the muck anymore, but their legacy is everywhere also. You can find it in some of the descendants still living in the surrounding towns. The swamp didn't swallow them. It saved them. And today it stands as a witness to the lengths humans will go just to be free. Today, we're once again living in a time where people feel targeted, where they feel they have to find some sort of vortex of safety to exist. People always want to compare what is happening in the US today to the 1930s in Germany. What is happening is actually American. This is American history. And there are signs all around. They're just hiding in plain sight.